when we start dreaming of buying our first home, right? And then first thing is key, what should I do or what should I also not do, right? What kind of a developer, what kind of a housing or developer I should be approaching, right? There are a lot of resale and new sale also which goes. So with so much calculation going behind our brain, and because this is going to be for most of us our life's biggest investment, and we want it to be secured and in in a safe hand. So Shivankar, what should be the do's and don'ts of when you're at least starting to think of buying your first property from your first savings?
So that's, the first thing I would ideally tell anyone who's looking to make his or her first real estate decision is to do primary research. That would essentially mean doing the general internet research that people are so accustomed to within the age of connectivity and Google. But also I would include in it a certain independent legal and financial kind of advice. What is it that I mean by that? Essentially, since you have narrowed down on an area or on a specific locality in a city, I would always advise my clients to seek independent real estate advice from the local brokers, property dealers and lawyers. When I say seek local and independent advice, what do I mean? Local essentially would mean that you have to, let's say, maybe open Google Maps, look at the different property dealers who are in that area, and obviously speak to them and contact them. The second thing I would say by local independent legal advice is you hire a lawyer. Now, when I say you hire a lawyer, essentially you engage a lawyer by paying him a small fee. Because every time you try to cut shortcuts where you say, okay, this is a lawyer who said he will do it for free or at a very, very lesser amount, you essentially are compromising his integrity. In this market today, anyone who pays the bills is who holds the actual say. So in case you decide to engage a lawyer directly, it would be maybe asking him what his or her rates are, and then taking ahead that engagement formally, and then paying him to do your research for you. So this also really helps. So you have both a broker advising you on the properties, and you have a lawyer advising you on the legalities involved of that properties. So that is two things I would strongly advise anyone to do who's looking to make his or her first inroads.
What should be the next thing? Can you help us, walk us through what should be the next step? What do you suggest your customers or client? Should they ask the builder to get some documentation before they put in some money, or what kind of a documentation would be required at this stage?
So what I advise anyone who comes to me seeking a due diligence job, or rather a due diligence of a property, is first of all, ideally they come to me second, truth be told, because first is usually the broker when they shortlist the property, and once they want to actually make the advance payment or the booking or anything of that sort. Now, it really depends on the market they're approaching me for. For example, if they're approaching me to buy it from a developer, any developer usually will sell either a constructed property or an under construction property. Now, within a constructed or a completed property, the amount of the essential documents rather which a lawyer needs to know, or which you must ask a lawyer for, is when is the conveyance deed being executed, because a conveyance deed is always executed within, let's say, 3 months or 6 months after you execute. And what do you call? You call it different things. Some people call it an agreement of sale, some people call it an allotment letter, some people call it, so the title of the documents actually vary, but it is actually what the conveyancing is what you should be looking for. So after you agreed this preliminary document, you have, let's say, a period of 6 months to make the payment. Now within these 6 months, you are to then do a diligence as to whether you require a loan, What is the best bank you need to take a loan from? What are the mortgages that the bank is offering you on that loan? What are the conveyancing deed? What are the stamp duty which is payable? How much is the registration charges which you have to pay? So really, this is what you're looking for in a primary market. This is slightly different in a secondary market, wherein you are essentially looking not so much at the conveyance itself, but the history of the property. Now, I call it actually the chain of title. In a secondary market, what you need to look out for is, this person is claiming to be the owner of, let's say, XYZ property, but how did he get it? So you start to make that story within your head. Did he get it via a gift deed? Did he get it pursuant to a family partition? Did he get it pursuant to a sale which he had undertaken? So really, the chain of title becomes very important in a secondary market, whereas your actual documentation with a developer is what drives the primary market. So two different paths and really two different things you should be looking at.
What is the kind of duration it should take or it takes for the due diligence to take place? A thorough one, at least.
Well, I mean, I would say a month, definitely a month, because it's a government department, so they take their sweet time. But it could be expedited, but usually transactions like these, they take months to complete. No one is, like I said, the amounts involved are so big. I mean, buying a property is akin to, I would say, only second to getting married in the list of expenditure for any middle class person such as you and I. We will only expend so much money on buying a house and maybe on someone's wedding in the family. So it is a major purchase. So they definitely take their own sweet time. I've very rarely seen any property get closed in overnight, unless it has been a distress sale for some reason or the other, for any medical reason.
Okay.